Hi, my name is Alicia Doherty, and I have 10 children and a husband. 6 of our children are adopted from foster care, 4 of our children are biological. Before we met Alex's birth mom, he had a closed adoption. This was not something that we chose. This was something that um, CPS had chose at the time when his mom surrendered her rights over to CPS. So by the time that we got foster care placement of Alex, the rights of his parents had already been terminated, and it was already a closed adoption. So we had never met her. And pretty soon after he moved in at 4 years old, he was asking to talk to his mom, see his mom, and we had no way of contacting her. I had tried a couple times to send a letter and pictures through CPS, and she later told me that one of the sets had come to her. After that, caseworkers changed and things didn't get forwarded to her, and I had no address to send her stuff myself. Once we so throughout this time, Alex was wanting that connection with his biological mom, and there was no way. We eventually decided to find Alex's birth mother on social media. One of our very close family friends, Jen Schaffer, said, let's look in the paperwork. Let's find her full name or names that she's had. And we did have minimal paperwork on him, so we were able to look up her name. And we looked on a few social media platforms, and we finally found one on Facebook that was her, or we assumed was her. It actually, after we found Alex's biological mom on social media, I didn't reach out to her right away. I had reservations. I didn't know if she had chosen a closed adoption for a reason. I wasn't sure if she was going to be receptive to us reaching out to her for Alex. I wasn't sure if she was mentally going to be in the right frame of mind for me to reach out to her. And I was worried how she would receive it. I didn't want to cause her any harm or open up any old feelings for her unnecessarily. So it took me a while, I can't remember how long, until I finally got the courage to write her on Facebook. And I said, I just wanted you to know that we are the family that adopted your son Alex, and I wanted to reach out to you and let you know what a wonderful person he is. And I felt like she needed to know that. And if it left at that, then that was it. But she wrote back, she said how happy she was to hear from us, and she's wondered about him every day. And she was very receptive to talking with him and getting to know him again and meeting him. Unfortunately, she lives across the country from us, so it was not a reunification that we could do immediately, because the cost to fly her here was very high. So for a little while, it was just phone calls and texting, messaging. Meeting in person was definitely something that everybody had been wanting. We had been checking the flights, and she was also willing to take a train or a bus if it meant that. So we kept checking the prices routinely, and when coronavirus hit, the plane ticket prices plummeted, which was definitely to our benefit. We secured a really good flight for a really good price, and I am thankful for that. At this point, Alex's mom and I had been talking, and we decided that we wanted to make it a surprise. It was something that Alex had kept asking for and talking about, and we thought, how fun would it be to make this just a big surprise? So that is how that came about, and we had bought her a plane ticket and we flew her here. She spent 4 days with us. We had a really fun time, and Alex was definitely surprised. He knew right away who it was the second she opened that car door, even though he had no idea she was coming. After Alex met his birth mother, it has definitely healed a huge chunk of his heart. It's answered a lot of questions for him. They spent the entire 4 days. She told him why she made the decision to give him up, why she wanted him to have a better life and a second chance, and a lot of details that he needed to hear to understand why his life took this path into adoption and into our family, and why he unfortunately is unable to live with her, because that's something that, you know, he's been wanting. He wants that hole filled, but this was able to fill that hole instead by giving him a better understanding for why his life situation turned out the way that it did. Meeting his birth mom has affected Alex in a very positive way. It answered a lot of questions. It closed the gap. It really freed him up to appreciate and enjoy this life that he has here, and also understand and sympathize with his mom's decision to give him up for adoption. The future for our family and Alex's birth mom is we will continue to be in touch through social media, texting, phone calls, mail. That won't change. Hopefully we can continue to see each other in person. If we could even do a weekend every summer, that would be amazing. She has said she's definitely coming for his high school graduation, so that will be an extremely special time. So that is where the future is headed. The 3 other sets of our adopted children from foster care have open adoptions with their families, which has made it a little harder for Alex when he had a closed adoption, because he was seeing our other children, talking to and seeing their birth family regularly, and he was not able to have that in his life, which is what led us to reach out to his birth mom in the hopes that we could change from a closed adoption to an open adoption. In terms of other information about our family, we never expected to have 10 children. There's just such a need for foster homes in our country that we will take in as many as we can adequately parent. We do believe in open adoptions. It's a piece of the puzzle that these children need in their life. It is also extremely helpful for us in terms of if I have a medical question or anything about their history, I'm able to just text their parents and ask them about their history. It's also helpful for these kids to always know that biological connection. It's something that they crave, and if they don't have it, then it's something that causes a lot of hard feelings, and hard feelings often get brought out by some pretty big behaviors. So by filling that void, you're eliminating what could potentially be hard feelings and big behaviors. Thank you for listening to our story.